Unfortunately, yeah, I talked about how it's nice and easy to, go and hide, whereas I think I'm literally not allowed to in this mission, which is why I'm just not able to lose them at all. Which means this one may be a challenging one.
I back you to do this, Doctor, and if not, we can always retry and restart the mission.
Yeah, it's just because I've lost health, and unfortunately, I'm trying to find there's a fucking thing around here somewhere, actually I can use to heal.
Yeah.
There it is.
Whilst we're talking about Tolkien's initial drafts of the Mines of Moria, so by 1940, the farthest he's got was the Tomb of Balin, but he starts writing again immediately after this, and he resolves a lot of issues. So at the point we've kind of last left off in the discussion in the previous episode, there were two big narrative problems that kind of beset the early drafts of the Fellowship. So in the first instance, Tolkien struggled for years. Literally, he starts writing in 37, and by 1940, he still can't overcome the problem of why doesn't Gandalf just help them and bail them out?
Yeah, hence why I have to invoke old tropes about wizards and what they do and don't do and stuff. Oh, exactly. Right in the throat.
Oh, please do it. Have we got an area attack? Do an area attack.
Not really. Ah, fucking Christ.
In any case, with this problem resolved, so he fabricates Saruman as a character, and he reveals that the Gandalf has been taken. Oh my God! Gandalf has been taken prisoner by Saruman to effectively write him out of the story.
Yeah.
The other big problem that he's got is the identity of Aragorn, or Strider, or Elfstone, or Trotter, as he was.
I'd forgotten about Trotter conceptually. Jesus.
Yeah, we're not sure whether this would make it into the draft viewership because we can't remember whether we spoke about it and how drunk we were if we did speak about it in the previous recording session.
Yeah.
But the character of Aragorn began life as a Hobbit Ranger by the name of Trotter, famous for his wooden shoes that he would use to gallop across the landscape, thus trotting around on his chubby little legs. And that is legitimately how Tolkien initially conceived the character of Aragorn. I mean, obviously went through various drafts, but by 1940 he's resolved these issues. He's decided that Aragorn would be the heir of Elendil, the character that we all know and love, and that this is how he kind of contrives to drive the narrative forward thereafter. He's written Gandalf out for the early sections, and Aragorn now is who he is and has a place in the broader history of Middle-earth.
Let's blow this guy's head up. Ah, damn it.
I think it takes time to drain them.
Oh yeah.
This is an unspeakable horde that you're going up against here, Doctor.
Yeah, I guess that's its thing. We're doing alright, but they are just replenishing so much, because of course they are.
Yeah.
But none of them are particularly scary enemies, so... Oh, he's here.
Golem the Bloody, so what we effectively have to do is drive up our combo meter against his minions and then...
Take him on, I guess, yeah.
Are they shouting Golem?
Golem!
Golem!
They shout his name every time. It's whoever it is when they turn up, they do their little war chants. At least one of the things I know as well is if I fuck this up, it doesn't matter. He'll still just be here. Ah, shit ass.
But his lieutenants might gain power and things, right?
Yes, but also if we just leave, we can start this mission again, but we won't have to do this bit again, which is nice. Oh, I've run into a fucking house. Oh, this is not good. Oh, hello, you.
Get out, get out.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Oh, that would have been so bad.
Ah, shit.
Caught like a rat in the trap.
Oh, shit. Oh, not good. Oop, and there we go. Let's stop that. Get the fuck away from me.
I'm beginning to think, Doctor, that I might be the problem. That it seems to me you play this game well whenever I'm not around.
This is a tough one because we've got to just fight in open combat, and that's just hard in this game. And I guess that's kind of the whole point. And now I need to do something a bit cleverer. But the issue is, I don't have any elf. Oh no, I do have full elf shot. Brilliant. Rise.
Bring down the bees.
Yep. And I know this guy is, let me check, but I'm pretty sure this guy is vulnerable to range. So my plan is basically going to be, can be injured by range shots or shadow strikes, and by combat finishes as well, so I can actually just try and, shiv him. But he always, at least we can pick him out in the crowd quite easily, because he's glowing red. So, let's just free this dude as well.
Canagor! Canagor! A herb unit is nearby.
Yeah, that would be the one that heals me. Which, yes, it is nearby, I hope. Let's take some more shots at Golem.
Just keep chipping away, Doctor. I back you to get this done.
Yeah, that's the trick, basically, with this whole thing, is just little and often. And here, now they're actually distracted, I'm a bit more anonymous now.
Now, I do have a question for you. So, in the text of Lord of the Rings, so in Fellowship, I always get this mixed up, and I know that you know the answer to this, but...
Oh god, pressure. The pressure of the mission and the lore pressures now. I like this.
In Balin's tomb, is there actually a cave troll that appears in The Lord of the Rings?
You see its foot and that's it.
Yeah, okay. So like that's all there ever was in Tolkien's drafts, actually. So I got to that section when I'm reading the history of The Lord of the Rings that it's just a foot that comes through the door.
Yeah.
And I couldn't
And Frodo
recall...
stabs the foot.
Yes, he
and that's
does.
about it, yeah. You'll notice now I'm fully back up to full health and full health shot from having drained that guy.
Wonderful.
So that's the big thing you gotta do. And also, I think did it say something? Oh, no, it didn't say explosions for him. But that Caragor seems to have been the distraction we needed to actually have a moment. Well, between the Caragor and the bees, at least.
I'm kind of surprised that, like, Talion has the name that he does and the kind of personality he does. We've spoken of, like, how he's kind of, like, Aragorn light, like, he's bargain basement Aragorn.
Yeah.
And I'm not really that keen on Talion as a protagonist, but, like, he's fine.
He's not a silent protagonist, but he's not big on the old personality, because that's you, the player.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about silent protagonists in video games. I'd rather that I had a colourful protagonist that I was rooting for than I've got to artificially insert myself into these narratives. In any case, insofar as it's based on Aragorn, like I learned a new name or initial name that Aragorn was cast with. So at first Tolkien wanted to call Aragorn Elfstone. That was
that's the translation of Elisar. So
is it really?
Yep, it means Elfstone.
Oh, I wasn't aware of
this?
that.
Fuck off. Why you got a fish helmet, you dickhead?
Oh my god, it said Atlantean.
Yeah.
He honestly looks as though he could belong in one of those like Jason Momoa Aquaman movies.
Yeah. Oh, hello everyone. Forgot though. Man, there's people everywhere here. This is bullshit.
Did you kill the 35 allocated orcs required to droid?
Yep. This is gold. Yeah, the guy I'm shooting at the moment is the one we drew out.
Oh, okay, wonderful. I just didn't realize you'd killed all 35 that you were required to.
Yeah, the explosion killed like 20 of them at least. Now I'm actually just looking for a target to drain because I need some juice. This guy looks nice and isolated. Yeah, you're gonna have a bad one, mate. Surprise! Your soul is mine.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Oh, and you just legged it. He didn't even want to stay and fight. That's hilarious.
Well, when you drain them, it doesn't kill them.
No, not necessarily. Not unless you also shiv them.
Is this supposed to be like Celebrimbor assaulting them in the Wraith world?
Yeah, basically. And if they essentially have the equivalent of like a leadership characteristic, and if it's very likely that they'll just get the fear from being drained rather than fight back.
Oh, I mean, I like that the game plays into like the notion of the Wraith world because Tolkien in his text doesn't actually spend a lot of time explaining it or really articulating what it is. There's a few good moments. So one of the reasons it's given in a draft of the Fellowship of the Ring, because obviously the intuitive thing to do is if you're going to spend 9 people out into the world to contest the will of Sauron, 4 of them probably shouldn't be hobbits. So like I think Gandalf or Boromir asks, well, why don't you just give us Glorfindel?
Yeah.
Like Eristor, Elrond, why don't you come with us? Legolas seems like he knows what he's doing. All these supremely powerful elven lords, why don't we just bring all these guys with us? And apparently the reason that Elrond gives is that they're literally too bright.
Yeah, they draw attention.
The Eye of Sauron, exactly. There's a wonderful description in Fellowship of whenever Frodo puts the ring on and he looks at an elf, they're like a golden being in the Wraith world. They're like a beacon of light in the kind of shadow world, the Wraith world, whatever you want to call it.
Go on.
I don't know, on you go.
No, I'm going to say a point that follows on from this one, so it's best that you finish yours first.
Basically, Elrond's advice is like, if you go walking around Middle-earth with like 5 elf lords in tow, then it's like, you're lit up like a Christmas tree, and Sauron's going to look at like, well, that's where the ring is then.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's interesting, in Wagner's Ring, as a comparison thing, there's 2 separate parts of like, Fafnir the Dragon's... Oh, he's retreating, shit.
Run!
Right, now we got to finish him.
Get him, Doctor!
I'm trying, he's wily.
He's surprisingly quick for a big bastard.
Yeah. And basically, obviously, we will lose him if he goes here. But most orcs aren't as fast as he's balls, right. It's basically it's to stop you.
He looks speedy.
Why won't he? It's to stop you doing exactly what we're doing, which is like just slowly chipping away at him. No, I think we've lost him, unfortunately.
Get after him, you can get him.
If he leaves the area, it doesn't matter actually how close I am, and he's fucking fast actually. But he'll lose some power from basically retreating from the fight, frankly. So that's
oh, okay. So
that's a thing.
So this isn't a total loss.
No, and I'm still on him. I might still be able to... Oh, yes. Hello.
Fight him.
Fight me, you little bitch.
On the subject of like elf lords and how they light up the kind of world, it's a point that many people, like Lord of the Rings novices, frequently underlook because people they bring up the fucking eagles. They bring up the eagles so often, but like it's never explicitly stated in the text. But like someone like Gandalf or Boromir or Elrond should just sit down at some point and say, "Hey, remember our enemy's a giant fucking eye? Oh, you got him
on his way out."
Nice.
Yeah, what I was going to say is in Wagner's Ring. There's two separate treasures. There's the Ring of Power, and there's a helmet that makes you invisible. And Tolkien merged them together into both being powers of the ring, which kind of makes sense with and the Wraith world was kind of his mechanism for doing that, which is quite cool.
I think so. Like, I wish he spent more time discussing the notion of the Wraith world.
Yeah,
but he doesn't. We'll talk maybe about why that is later in this very episode.
Ah, that was a good one there. That was tough, but we did it.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Lord of the Rings helms, Doctor. I learned that one of my colleagues the other day. So, like, it's a chap who's recently joined my work, and he's a big nerd. He's like us. Like, I got on well with him.
I'm not a nerd. What are you talking
about? You can deny it, Doctor, but you know it to be true. Search your feelings.
Right. Just before you say that, I'm gonna look for our goal because I think now. Complete more main missions to unlock. Aha! Yes, we have another main mission over here. The Dark Monument. Destroy the Gorthar. Oh, yeah, that's quite cool. So that'll be taking on the statue of Sauron. Because Gorthar was the elves' word for Sauron.
Oh,
Gorthar the Cruel was what they called him.
Very good knowledge,
while
Doctor.
He was one of Morgoth's lieutenants. But yes, continue. Helm.
Oh yeah, so like this chap that weird side tangent. Aragorn's father was initially conceived not as Arathorn, but he was given the elf name Elf Helm.
Huh.
And Aragorn is Elf Stone. So like you can see how there's a through line there. But in the early drafts of Fellowship, Aragorn is referred to as Elfstone, son of Elfhelm. And obviously they changed this later, but yeah. But this chap that I've met at work, when he was a teenager, he saved up a bunch of money and he bought one of the props from Lord of the Rings, and he bought one of the Gondorian helmets.
Oh, yeah.
But it's actually one of the ones that's been certified by the Weta Workshop, so it's like a solid steel helmet that he's got that just kind of sits on a shelf, and he's got to treat it every so often to make sure it doesn't rust.
That's fucking cool.
It's really fucking cool.
I mean, it's not been that long for the viewer since we had plot, but for us it was 3 or 4 drunken hours, so...
Yeah, it's this guy again. The guy who looks kind of... He looks kind of like, what's his name? Tormund Giantsbane.
Yeah, I was thinking that, yeah. Have you ever seen that actor without a beard? It's horrifying.
Ready to pick that fight?
Has nobody given his wife like some more clothes to wear in the time? She must be freezing!
The temperature of Mordor is never made clear, in fairness.
I think if you went back and reread chunks of Return of the King, I think you could probably tease out the temperature and climate in Mordor. But
I mean, the climate's just unpleasant. It's never like hot or cold.
Yeah, it's something that's overlooked a lot about Tolkien's character, because like obviously the more exciting parts of his work are the combat and like the epic fantasy and like the great quests and the warfare and so on and so forth. But you forget how much Lord of the Rings is just him talking about nature.
Yeah,
like he loves nature. There was a wonderful shot in one of the documentaries that I watched about him where it's just him walking around the University of Oxford talking about his favourite trees.
Of course he had favourite trees, that's completely on
Oh yeah. And like there's a quote from him like in the documentary where he's like, I love trees. Like he literally says they might be some of my favourite things. You know, trees feature heavily in all of my work. It's telling that Treebeard is conceived as like a giant but also a tree.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sweet. Like I get the feeling he was a very good-natured man and like, hey, good nature.
Hey,
see what I did
very
there?
good.
But like it's lost then amongst all of the epic fantasy and fighting that like this guy just cared deeply about the natural world. I mean, see like his portrayal of Saruman. Like Saruman is evil because he's an industrialist, and he's an industrialist because he's evil. That's kind of a circular like logic that Tolkien employs.
Yeah, I mean that's what happens when you start invoking, you know, these characters are evil because they're evil. Like the idea of like inherent good and evil is always going to kind of lead to somewhat circular logic.
Well, it's interesting you bring this up right now, Doctor, because in one of the interviews that I read with or like listened to with Tolkien, it's very short. It's only recorded for television for about 7 or 8 minutes. It's with a BBC interviewer called Bowen, who I can't find any information about Bowen. Like he just seems to be a black hole on the internet. Like when I try to Google this man. But in this BBC television interview with Bowen, towards the very end of Tolkien's life, Tolkien says explicitly, "I don't believe in absolute evil." but he says that he does believe in absolute good.
Huh, interesting.
So, which is really bizarre. So even in Tolkien's imagination, Sauron, who basically is the embodiment of evil within his own universe, is not conceived as absolutely diabolically evil. Like there's some good in Sauron by Tolkien's own admission.
I mean, I guess I can see that with, you know, the I only wished argument for villains and stuff like that.
Yeah, like, we get a draft, I don't know if it survived into Fellowship, but there's a draft where Gandalf recounts what Saruman says to him the first time he goes to him and Saruman captures him and puts him on top of the Tower of Orthanc. Like, he talks about how Saruman says, things that seemed cruel to us only seemed cruel because we didn't understand the true purpose, or Sauron only seemed brutal because we didn't understand what he was trying to do. The implication being that, like, even to a wizard like Saruman, some of what Sauron is doing makes sense to him.
And it's the I only wished, which doesn't always make a villain good, but is normally a pretty good, like a green flag for a villain, is if they have a nice I only wished. It's the whole villains are often the heroes of their story.
Yeah, I mean, it's an unusual thing for Tolkien to say, given that, like, we get nothing of Sauron's motivation in The Lord of the Rings. Like, we have no idea why he does the things that he does.
Bang.
Oh! Heavens. that can't be.
Yeah, if you drain them to completion, as it were, they burst like an overripe grapefruit.
Oh, is it too early for me to do something? That's what all my lovers tell me.
It's never too early for that, and I don't think it's ever stopped you either, so...
No, it has not. But yeah. Well, as Tolkien says in this interview, like, he doesn't believe in the concept of absolute evil. He does believe in the concept of absolute good.
Yeah.
So it's a somewhat... I mean, Tolkien was Roman Catholic. We're going to talk more about Tolkien's personal life in this recording session, probably. But he certainly admits in this interview that there's an absolute good that he thinks most people fall from.
Yeah.
But he doesn't believe that anyone is
that's
absolutely
very Catholic,
evil.
at least.
It is. Because the interviewer confronts him about this. Like, I get the feeling that Bowen, the man interviewing him, if you want to go and look this up, viewership, isn't a huge Lord of the Rings fan, but he is absolutely on point for trying to catch J.R.R.
Well, interviewing isn't about being... If anything, it's better if you're not interested or not pro whatever you're interviewing them about, because that's going to make you ask probing questions which will get good answers. Like, being an interviewer is about being critical without being a dick, basically.
So the previous interview that we spoke about with Tolkien in the first recording session, the earlier episodes of this show, it's obvious that this particular interviewer in the early episodes that we spoke about, like, actually admires Tolkien's work and has read Lord of the Rings and is a fan, whereas Bowen, this interviewer that I've been talking about in this episode, just wants to catch him out. It's a very different tone. But yeah, he actually calls in Tolkien and says, like, so, like, Sauron is basically like Lucifer. Like, Lucifer, of course, being like another name for the devil in Judeo-Christian heritage. But Tolkien denies this, and he's like, oh, Sauron's nowhere near as bad as Lucifer. He's like a cut or two below Lucifer.
Yeah, I mean, that is basically what Morgoth is, though. Morgoth is, you know, kind of not anti-God, but had his own plans, wanted to do those. God was like, absolutely not, get the fuck out. That's basically Morgoth in a lot of ways.
It's just very strange to me that, like, Sauron, what most of us think, he is the devil incarnate, he's a literal demon, but, like, even Tolkien, the man who created him, doesn't think of him as being irredeemable, which I think is touching to hear that J.R.R. had this much affection for even his worst characters.
What did we just get? We got... an ability point, excellent. What exciting shit can we get? Issue a death threat to a captain? Fire arrows? Ooh, fire arrows sounds exciting. Yeah, let's have the ability to ride Caragors, why not? That could be fun. Right. Oh.
And we're back?
We're back.
Are we back? I don't know. A YouTuber is never late, Doctor, nor is he early. He starts his videos precisely when he means to, but yeah, so we're back, viewership. Welcome back to the series. We hope you're enjoying. Like, share, subscribe, all that usual crap. Back to the action. We love Lord of the Rings. You love Lord of the Rings. That's why we're all here.
Let's use the thing we've just learned.
That's it. Ride the monster.
Oh, and
yes.
Dominate Caragor. Use the. Oh, we just gotta do this. And yeah. Well, X attacks, Y bites, range. Oh, I can shoot while I'm on him. Excellent.
That's wild. That's really cool.
Aha.
Now, it seems like it's not really helpful for this mission because
absolutely
we can't
not.
follow our man.
Let's just kill this guy then. You've served your purpose. Thank you.
I feel bad for the Caragor, even though it's a non-canonical.
Well, it's just going to wander off now.
Machine. Oh, released back into the wild.
Where it's probably going to be captured by Uruks again. In case I don't know if you've been
to-
following the plot, by the way, but in case anyone's curious, yeah, we've got a grog delivery for the Uruks that we've replaced with gunpowder, and we're clearing the path for our lads to take that to the base of this statue of Sauron, which we're going to Guy Fawkes. Yep,
Cool.
that's the plan. As you were.
I get the feeling that the statue of Sauron is not going to take this lying down.
It'll be some shit like that. Maybe it's actually just Sauron and he's just fucking giant and standing there.